Good morning. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday morning, September 30th, this last day of September. Welcome, everybody. October is on its way. Mike and Joe Stromberg, welcome to you. There's Stacy Riggle, welcome this morning. Good to see you here today. Names are trickling in slow this morning. Hey, Suzanne and Daryl. Are you guys at home in Arizona, or are you up in Washington still? I've lost track. Wendy Chadwick, good to see you this morning. Jim and Kathy Fuente, morning to you. Good morning, Steve and Andrea. Good to see you. Lori Cares, Debbie King. Good morning. Welcome, Sandy Crocker. Good to see you. Yeah, I watched a bit of the debate last night, and what it really told me was we are in need now more than ever of Jesus. God is the only one that can, that is our Savior. There is no human Savior on earth. Jesus is the one who's going to give us hope, purpose, a future, and in Him do we trust. You know, there's no other name under heaven given men that we can be saved. All the more important for us to be living out kingdom values and principles. Jesus' return is near. I'm more and more convinced of that all the time. I see a ton more names coming in. Bob and Claudia, good to see you. Kim Johnson. I thought I saw Barbara Richardson in there. Karen Perry. You're up early this morning. I don't know if the kiddos are with you. Hello, Gideon or Asher, if you happen to be on a mom's lap this morning. Hopefully you're getting your morning cup of coffee. So we are in Matthew chapter 6 this morning. By the way, the morning cup of coffee was for Karen, not for Gideon or Asher. Just to be clear about that. Matthew chapter 6, beginning with verse 2, Jesus is addressing our acts of worship that are intended to honor God, and he is pointing out that that is not always the case. He says, beware of your acts of righteousness being done for the motive just to be seen by other people, to appear religious. And Jesus says this is hypocritical. And he's not mincing his words when he points out the very people who are the worst culprits at this, and that is the Pharisees. That's the implication of who he's accusing here. I'm just going to read the passage. This is chapter 6, verse 2. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets. So he doesn't name the Pharisees, but everybody in the audience here would know, when there's trumpet sounding, calling a lot of attention to, I'm giving alms to the poor, the places, the synagogues that's happening, in the streets, their minds immediately think of, that's what the Pharisees do. And Jesus is saying, don't do that. He says, I lost my place. They do this is their motive, to be praised by others. Truly, Jesus says, I say to you, they have received their reward, the praise from others. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret, as your Father who sees in secret will reward you. So God sees, we do it to please Him. We do it to honor God. That is our heart's motive when we give. We don't do it just for the eyes of men. And this is kind of a subtle thing. I mean, we've tried to digest this verse so much in the church that it is almost to the point of really playing down anyone giving anything. So, as we pass an offering, it's kind of this, it's an act of worship in our worship services, but we don't call any attention to, other than the general faithfulness of people. We don't bring any attention to any particular person who's given. We as pastors don't know who gives what. I have no idea who our biggest givers are. I mean, I have an idea because I am a part of the generosity of some who like to give in secret, but they need an avenue, so they need to involve the church. I want to give this person who is in need some finances, or I want to do something on their behalf, but I don't want them to know it's me. Can I give through the church? So, I have the pleasure of having that participation. So I know some of who are our generous people, but really, I think we do a great job at Grace of not letting the left hand know what the right hand is doing. I mean, our finance board does a great job in keeping their confidentiality about giving, and I don't have any idea who gives what, generally. And so this is great. I think this is a great thing. It's a part of kind of our church culture. But it's when I think what I want to address this morning is just what I think Jesus intends is not institutional giving like at the church or the tithe. It's when you personally are giving. What is your heart motive? Are you doing it for others to see? Are you doing it to honor God? You want to help someone, but you want God to get the credit, not you. And here's where I think I want to talk around this a little bit, because here's the temptation, is that we've done this in secret, but there's the temptation to drop hints that you had done this thing. I mean, I get it. We want some credit for it, right? And I find myself doing this. I'll just use myself as an example. I'm not calling anybody out. I'll call me out. So my hours are crazy sometimes. I'll work on Saturday. I'll work on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. And there are two things that generally happen with regard to my inner workings of my heart. I have a hard time taking time off of work. I'm very work-oriented as part of my family culture, and that I'm, trying to remain productive, have a high work ethic, all those things. And so if I'm taking a day off that's not my normal day off, like Monday, taking some time off, I have a hard time just taking the time off. I have to justify it by saying, oh, well, Saturday I did a memorial service, or, the week previous, Sunday afternoon we drove up to Tahoe, I did a wedding. It helps me to feel like I'm earning my keep. I'm not just going and taking some time off. So I have to watch how I not that I justify it, but I have mixed emotions when I say, when I drop hints that I was serving in addition to my normal office hours, which are sometimes crazy. I'm here at night, here early in the morning, I'm here on the weekends. It's a little erratic. And so when I check my own heart motives, it's I want to communicate honestly and truthfully that, hey, I'm doing my part. But there's a hidden motive that I think is what Jesus is talking about, is when I do that for the purpose of impressing someone with my religious sacrifice is not the word really I'm thinking of, but I want to impress someone that I'm really giving. I'm really doing my part. And I think that's probably more of the little nitty-gritty stuff I want to kind of hone in on is how we drop hints that, I was here late last night, getting this thing ready for church tomorrow. And we just kind of do it like in a passing comment in a conversation. Why do we do that? Did we do that because it was actually relevant to the conversation, or did we slip that in to get a little credit with people around us? Oh, you were here. Oh, you were serving. Wow, that was impressive. That's the thing. I think really what I see most in our church circles, because we don't make a big deal about giving, although there are very generous givers in our congregation. What I see, not that what I see and I'm judging this, I'm just trying to be helpful this morning in trying to identify our heart's desires and what I think Jesus is getting at. Are we guilty of dropping little hints when we are serving sacrificially? When we are giving of ourselves, giving of our finances, giving of our whatever, do we drop subtle hints to people? And when we do that, what is in our heart? What are we trying to gain in that moment? Are we seeking some recognition for that? What is in our heart? That's really the point I think Jesus is making, is that we need to discipline our hearts and our minds to be focused on our generous giving, our giving to someone who is in need, our serving in the church in such a way that, I'm just focused on the Lord. I don't need any recognition for that. So the subtle hints, that's the first thing. The second thing I would observe is that when we can kind of observe what is our motive, is when we don't get recognition for something that we did. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? It's like, do you start to build a little resentment that here I am serving day in, day out. I'm giving, and no one's seeing, no one's commenting, no one's saying thank you. Yeah, we can get there too. And it's important that we say thank you to people. It's important that we honor people's sacrifice. We do that with the intention that their motive to do it isn't for the thank you or the recognition. But in our own heart, we just have to examine, why am I serving? Why am I giving? What am I doing? Am I doing it for the recognition, or am I doing it for the Lord? And I'll say this just in closing. As we examine our heart, this is kind of this section of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount is, the point is, don't be like the hypocrites. Examine our motives, examine our heart. Having said that, I'll just say this. It is a rare moment, I would imagine. I'll say it can happen, but I'll say in a high percentage of the time, our motives will always be mixed in what we do. We'll never have a totally pure motive in anything we're doing, because just the way our heart works and our flesh. So my expectation is not that my heart is absolutely sincere in everything I do, because I'm always going to have a little bit of mixed stuff in there, a little bit of me, a little bit of the flesh, along with a real heart's desire to serve and to honor God and to give to Him alone, for His glory alone, whatever I'm going to give, whether financially or my sacrifice or of worship of my time and talent and whatever. We're always going to have a little bit of a mixed motive. We're human beings. But the idea here is challenge our heart. Why are we doing this? Are we getting unnecessarily offended because we're not getting recognized? Are we feeling resentful because not enough people are saying thank you? That I'm putting all this time in, but it's not producing the results that I want them to produce. What is it? And so we just examine our hearts so that when we give, we do it for the eyes of God. We do this in secret. We don't announce it with trumpets, and we certainly don't announce it with subtle hints, and guard our heart against resentment when we are giving very sacrificially, and it doesn't seem like we're getting the honor or credit due for that. So it's a tricky road, but we just serve the Lord and ask God to help us with that. And so that's the thought for today. And tomorrow we'll continue as Jesus approaches the subject of prayer and our motives for that. So have a wonderful day, and hope that you are being generous today with your time and your finances to people in need with as pure a motive as you possibly can to honor God, who sees and rewards. God bless you guys.